So what was it like? You started, you were out and about once upon a time raving and partying and...
Yeah, I mean, I've always been quite wild anyway, even before the rave days. So the rave days really for me started when I was about 15 and they lasted probably about 15 years. But no, there was fantastic. So I've always been into music, always been into health. But then the rave days were a bit kind of...
it's difficult to juggle everything, isn't it, when you're in full party mode?
Yeah, sometimes I think I'm very lucky to feel and be the way I am after all that. Yeah. But yeah, it got to really the end of the 90s, really, and I'd had my son and just wanted a kind of different life. The downers got more than the uppers. Mental health, anxiety, depression, kind of just looking for something else, really. I was a big Madonna fan, still a big Madonna fan, and she did yoga. Yep. So Cam, just after Cam was born, I found myself a yoga teacher, and I was hooked straight away, first class. The euphoria and the relaxation was just absolutely unreal. And eventually, the yoga, that got me away from the rave scene and
that lifestyle. Yeah.
I mean, I didn't realise at the time, but now looking back, I realised that was the beginning of my journey. It was amazing. I had some great teachers I found. They was Canadian. Unfortunately, they went back to America just about 3 months after I started with them. So I couldn't find another teacher like them in Lincoln. You're talking 20 years ago. Wow. There was only like British wheel teachers. Okay. So I was searching, couldn't find one. I bought books, started practicing on my own. Looking back now, though, the things I was trying to do, I could have brought
you're going in advance.
So be careful if you've not been to a class and you're working out of a book. Be careful. So I thought to myself, because I couldn't find a teacher, I thought I may as well teach myself. So I did come across one lady. There was something in her teaching that I liked, but it still wasn't the right thing for me. So I asked her who taught her. And she'd been on this course where there was a fit pro and a yogi who had come together to create a course. So I got their details, contacted them, spoke to the yogi, and completely went with the yogi. Alwyn, she's in her 70s now, and we're still really good friends.
Oh, that's lovely.
And she's trained me all the way through. She's taught me everything she knows. And cool. She's absolutely amazing. And the first course I actually went on with her, she had this box of books in the corner of the studio, and it happened to be Eckhart Tolle's Power of Now.
The Power of Now, powerful
so
book.
This is like 20 years ago. And I bought one of the books, and it was mind-blowing. It was like, I could have gone into the high street and kind of waved the book around. It was that kind of feel.
Yeah, God, yeah.
So, from then, it was just growth and growth and growth. It's just amazing.
So that's obviously in you. That's in you anyway, because I didn't have a dissimilar feeling to that, And I think that thing you talk of when you're in the rave world, the party world, there's so many things kind of conspiring at the same time, because you're young when you enter and they've just been given the keys to the world and everything's exciting, and the neon lights and the madness and the adrenaline, and especially in the 90s, you were there for that pivotal change, probably the biggest musical cultural change. From the 60s, really. Yeah. It feels like, anyway. But there is those stages that you go through when you do sort of get, maybe you go in like you were 15, I was probably 16, 17, and you maybe get into 22, 23, and you've got a good 4 or 5 years of, and you're sort of, you're still enjoying it, but you're kind of aware of it, and maybe you've got a better job, or maybe you just relationships are getting more, things start happening, people have babies, and you start to kind of, but it's such a strong thing when you're part of it. I felt like there was a long period where I kind of knew I was done, but I kind of took a long time to get away from it. It just felt like
everything became the same old. You're listening to the same conversations, doing the same thing.
Yes.
It just got done. Yeah. And I felt damaged, from it. So I kind of went from one extreme to the other quite quickly.
Were you so lucky that because I think
I'm very lucky, yeah.
Well, I've got a little kind of a personal feeling. I have a strong feeling from my experience with people around me where I think a lot of people feel like that, but can't quite muster or don't have the luck that maybe the book at the right time, or maybe the person who comes into their life, or a relationship that blossoms, or something. And I think a lot of people do feel like they get trapped there, and then that's a really difficult thing if you're not lucky enough to get that spark to.
Yeah, and I think it's just having that strength, and I think it's I kept thinking to myself, it's yoga that did it, I know that now. It hit something and that just grew, but at the time I was just thinking I just need something to stop me going out at the weekend because that was it. Every time I went out, and it can get quite lonely because you have to come away from your friends as well, you see.
No one wants to go home, do they? And then you end up being 2 days in, and then it gets worse because when you eventually are in the taxi on the way home, just
it's like, oh, here we go again. It's going to be all week.
Yeah. Wednesday, you start feeling normal. Thursday, it's like, right.
You're out again, and it was like that for 15 years.